Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Indra Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So Canto 2, Chapter 1, the first step in God realization, and verse number 23. Shri Sukha Uvacha Jitasano Jita Swasho Jita Sango Jitendriya Stule Bhagavato Rupe Manaha Sandharaye Dhiya. Shri Sukha Uvacha Jitasano Jita Swasho Jita Sango Jitendriya Stule Bhagavato Rupe Manaha Sandharaye Dhiya. Shri Sukha Vacha Jitashano Jita Swasho Jita Sango Jitendriya Stule Bhagavato Rupe Manaha Sandharaye Dhiya. Synonyms, translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Shri Sukha Uvacha, Sukadeva Goswami said, Jita Asanaha, controlled sitting posture. Jita Swashaha, controlled breathing process. Jita Sangaha, controlled association. Jita Indriyaha, controlled senses. Sthule, in the gross matter. Bhagavataha, unto the personality of Godhead. Rupe, in the feature of. Manaha, the mind. Sandharayet, must apply. Dhiya, by intelligence. Sukadeva Goswami answered, one should control the sitting posture, regulate the breathing process by the yogic pranayama, and thus control the mind and senses with intelligence. Apply the mind to the gross potencies of the Lord called the Virata Rupa. Purport. The materially absorbed mind of the conditioned soul does not allow him to transcend the limit of the bodily conception of self. And thus the yoga system for meditation, controlling the sitting posture and breathing process and fixing the mind upon the Supreme, is prescribed in order to mold the character of the gross materialist. Unless such materialists are able to cleanse the materially absorbed mind, it is impossible for them to concentrate upon thoughts of transcendence. And to do so, one may fix one's mind on the gross material or external feature of the Lord. The different parts of the gigantic form of the Lord are described in the following verses. The materialistic men are very anxious to have some mystic powers as a result of such a controlling process. But the real purpose of yogic regulations is to eradicate the accumulated dirty things like lust, anger, avarice, and all such material contaminations. If the mystic yogi is diverted by the accompanying feats of mystic control, then his mission of yogic success is a failure, because the ultimate aim is God realization. He is therefore recommended to fix his gross materialistic mind by a different conception and thus realize the potency of the Lord. As soon as the potencies are understood to be instrumental manifestations of the transcendence, one automatically advances to the next step, and gradually the stage of full realization becomes possible for him. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Bhaktivedanta purports ki jai. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narotamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udirayet. Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. So here we see Prabhupada is speaking about materially. And he's speaking about materially absorbed mind, material character, gross materialist. He's speaking about, if you are, working in even the yoga process with a materialistic mind, then we will miss the ultimate aim of God realization. When I studied Srīmad Bhāgavatam for the first time, a lot of these things I could make sense. And when you don't understand a particular topic, then you tend to just skip it, okay, I don't need to understand this. But then when we read again and again, then we realize, yes, there is a purpose why Sukadeva Goswami speaks in detail about these things, why Prabhupada is elaborating, he's giving his wonderful purpose to us. So in the beginning, we saw of the second canto that this whole chapter is going to be speaking about, the Ashtanga process, and also how to see the Lord, Krishna or Vishnu, in the material nature around us, specifically referring to the Virat Rupa, the gigantic form of the Lord in the nature. Arjun, again in Bhagavad Gita, as we know, when Krishna says, okay, aham sarvasya prabhava matta sarvam pravartate, that I am the source of all the spiritual and material emanations, everything comes from me. Arjun says, okay, fine, I take it on face value, but then also, I also want to see. So Krishna, in the 7th, 9th, and the 10th chapter, gives him the audio version of himself. That you can see him in the water, you can see him in the sun, you can see him in the ocean. But then Arjun says, okay, give me the visual form. So in this chapter, Sukadeva Goswami also is going to give us the visual form as to how we can see Krishna. So then in the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna shows the the audio-visual form of himself as the Virat Rupa. Prabhupada says, in one place, I think, that the Virat Rupa is a material form. And here also, Sukadeva Goswami keeps on describing that it is a material form. So I thought it would be nice if we can just break up the ISKCON jargon. When we speak to some new people, somehow or the other we should try to speak the language which they can understand. Many times we see the devotees are, just repeating like a parrot. Of course, it's nice to repeat like a parrot, but also we should understand that the other person, he will not understand. Say, for example, the last sentence Prabhupada says, as soon as the potencies are understood to be instrumental manifestations of the transcendence. I mean, this is like no one uses this kind of language in normal conversation. Basically, Prabhupada is trying to tell us, yes, if we are materially absorbed, we have got no tinge of spirituality, or if you meet someone who's got no tinge of spirituality, how can you explain them and make them convinced to at least consider the path of spirituality? Most people are just on their own journey. You're like, we go in a train, and we ask someone, the next passenger, where are you going? I don't know. The other passenger, where are you going? I don't know. If the whole compartment is so full of people who don't know where they're going, you'll think, this is the wrong place. And we are actually in the wrong place in the material world. You try to speak to someone and explain them that actually you should know where you're going. The man said, no, I'm just enjoying my journey. Why are you bothering me? You might say, yes, at least you might consider that if you know the destination, there will be a lot more security in your mind, and you'll be able to enjoy the journey a lot more. So similarly, when we understand that our destination is the supreme destination, where we do not come back to, from where we do not come back to the ocean of birth and death. Like, yesterday we had a wonderful festival, Radhashtami. Everyone who came there, at least their journey had started. So they are understanding, yes, even though so far I did not know where I'm going to go, but somehow or the other, it will make them think. I met a group of people who, one of the devotees is cultivating in Gold Coast, and there were about 10 or 12 of them. And I explained to them that just at least think about the purpose of your life. Otherwise, we'll be spending our life in ahar, nidra, bhai, maithun, eating, sleeping, mating, defending. So here, Prabhupada says that when we are completely materially absorbed, what happens is that, yes, definitely I am a conditioned soul. My mind is materially absorbed. So what do I do? So this is recommended here. What is recommended here? At least we see Krishna in the nature around us. We see whatever gross material or external feature of the Lord we see. You know, I can see uh, the sky is covered by clouds here. The windows are open. You know, I can see the house of the neighbors. And I can see, yes, everything is happening because of Krishna's energy. So, Srila Prabhupada, because he was not at all materially absorbed, he was completely transcendent personality. He did not feel the tribulations of the body. He did not feel the which one? Adi Devik, Adhyatmik, Adi Bhautik. Probably any of them. But I'm considering more with the body and mind. It is not that Prabhupada was not disturbed. He wrote, you know, at the end of his Leela here to his disciples that now you have to start managing the society. You know, long travels are now troubling my body, and I cannot tolerate it anymore. I want to sit at one place and translate the scriptures, translate Srimad Bhagavatam. But Prabhupada's purpose was much higher than what the troubles he got from his body. So when we are when we are spiritually absorbed, then the material body and the material mind will not affect us. The whole point is this, that slowly, of course, in our case, we have all understood that, you know, Krishna is the supreme and we should serve the devotees. That's understood. Now, can we take the next step further? You know, can we add some more services and see how we go deeper into our relationship with the Krishna? We can increase the level of our services we are doing, but at the same time go deeper into our relationship with Krishna. Here Prabhupada gives an example of the mystic yogi when he's diverted by, you know, some side products, the results of by, you know, the by results, where you know, he can get some mystic control and all that, and then his mind will be diverted there, and you know, Prabhupada says then his mission of yogic success is a failure, because the whole mission of yogic the whole yogic mission is yoginam api sarvesham madgate nantaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam samimuk yukta tamamataha. That Krishna says that of all the yogis, one who abides in me, one who thinks of me, one who renders service to me is the best yogi. So we want to be the best yogi. And any yogi, even the dhyana yogi, the mystic yogi, if he's getting diverted by any of the byproducts, for us, the byproducts are, in the beginning, yes, you know, we can be happy serving Krishna. But later on, when we start, you know, getting what we call the puja, labh, and pratishtha, name, fame, and adoration. When we start getting these things, then these are the byproducts of our bhakti yoga process. Now, we should not be diverted by these things. And generally, within a spiritual society, the problems happen when people don't realize that they are actually enjoying the puja, labh, and pratishtha. Because then, if they see someone else enjoying, if someone else getting the puja, labh, and pratishtha, then they don't like it, and the problems start. So in our case, if we have the sincere desire to serve, well, that's all. Yes, these things will come. You know, puja, labh, pratishtha will come. Radhanath Maharaj says nicely. He says, you know, whenever a devotee gets the adoration, the obeisances, the you know, accolades, he says, you know, he immediately passes on to the spiritual master. Easier said than done. Easier said than done. But we have to constantly practice that. You know, many people will say, it's such a nice program last night. But then, you know, do we give the credit to others? So this is what happens, that Prabhupada is expanding on this verse. Of course, this is a continuation of the Ashtanga Yoga. Prabhupada is expanding on this verse that in the beginning, someone who's completely materially minded, we do not take them, directly to the higher platforms of Bhakti Yoga. We explain them, okay, at least see the nature around us. We had some guests yesterday, and they are nature lovers. And then we explain to them, yes, we can see the nature in everywhere. At the same time, explain to them that the whole process of what we are doing in this temple is that we are making people understand that the human life is not all about, as I said, janma, ahar, nidra, bhai, maithun. It's not just about what animals do. It's all about that we understand that there is the Lord, and can we see the Lord in every way, in every place. And from these verses, Sukadeva Goswami is going to start describing the different aspects of the Virat Rupa. So we can see here that Prabhupada says that the root cause of all the troubles. What is the root cause of all the troubles? Our concocted desires. And we've seen many times, we've heard many times, everything comes from a desire. Everything comes from a desire. Now we as Jiva have accumulated desires for a long, long time. We have been in the prison for a long, long time in the material world. And because of these material desires, when we try to satisfy them, instead of giving us peace of mind, Prabhupada states, they actually creates more problems and thus bind us to the cycle of birth and death. So Prabhupada has given in the previous purports that how can these desires be removed from the heart? Only by associating with the Supreme Lord, only by associating with Vishnu. Now there are people in our case also, we do not have that much faith. We can only perceive matter around us. Okay, once the class is finished, then I will do this, do that, whatever we do. We are just involved in matter again. So in our case, or in someone else's case also, if we are unable to pin our faith on the personal feature of the Lord, okay, I have to serve the deities, I have to read about him, I have to, chant his names, Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela, as yesterday we heard, then we should be given a chance, or the other person should be given a chance to associate with the Virat Rupa. Now, Virat Rupa, as in simple words, it's a cosmic, impersonal feature of the Lord. So, we can see the whole universe, we can see the whole cosmos, and we can see the Lord's presence in that. We do not see as Lord as a person, and that's why it's the impersonal feature of the Lord. Now, the impersonal feature of the Lord is again one of the features of his unlimited potencies. And as we know, Shakti and Shaktiman, the potent and the potencies are identical. So even when we start with the conception, and that's why Prabhupada has given us the deities. Deities we see, deities are right in front of us. We have Radha Giri Govardhantari, such beautiful deities, they're right in front of us. But because we do not see the Lord everywhere, we can come and see in the temple, yes, these are beautiful deities. A very wonderful form, Tribhanga Swarup of the Lord, accompanied by Tribhanga Swarup, is the wonderful, posture of Srimati Radharani. Such beautiful, graceful poses they're giving. Then we come from the impersonal to the personal. We understand that, yes, these are brass deities, but then we see the Lord in them. And that's when it becomes personal, from impersonal to personal. And Prabhupada says that, yes, when we see the Lord in the cosmic impersonal feature, then slowly, we the association of devotees, in our case, of course, chanting and all that, slowly it helps the conditioned soul to associate with the Lord indirectly first, and then gradually rise to the stage of personal contact. So this is the process given by Sukadeva Goswami here. that in the beginning, one sees the impersonal feature, then again appreciating the Lord like that. And this theme is being repeated. Kapila Bhagwan, he speaks in the third canto, the same theme, that yes, in the beginning, we should see the Lord everywhere, and then again start the process of devotional service after coming into contact with a pure devotee, and then we can associate with the Lord. And then so Kapil Bhagwan describes that when we see the personal feature of the Lord, when we see the beautiful lotus face of the Lord, it is like millions of suns rising together. The effulgence is like of millions of suns rising together. Now, do we see that when we see the deities? No, at least I don't see that. But when our hearts are pure, we can see that, yes, the Lord, my Lord is so beautiful that I do not want to take my eyes off his lotus form. As we've heard before, when the gopis are talking to each other, they're saying, how can anyone see the Lord completely? Because in my case, when I look at the toenails of my Lord, it is so brilliant, it is so attractive that I cannot remove my eyes from just his lotus toenails, which are brilliant, as as the scriptures describe, that the Lord's form is made of, I think it says 24 and a half moons. 24 and a half moons. The toenails, the nails of the fingers, the eyes, the lips, like that is given, and half is, I think, his the Chandra Bindu, the tilak on his forehead. Sukdev Goswami is here answering the question of Parikshit Maharaj. And of course, as we heard, Jiva Goswami explains that Maharaj Parikshit is already fixed in the personal relationship with the Lord. He already has the personal relationship with the Lord, but is asking the question for our benefit, that we can also understand this conception, and then when time comes, we can explain it to others. We are in the Hare Krishna movement, a dynamic movement, where not only we have to save ourselves, but we have to save others. Now, coming back to the purport of Srila Prabhupada, there are so many words, which Prabhupada uses, which people, if you give this paragraph to any outsider, they won't make a head or tail out of that. But then we have to explain them in normal terms. You can see, as materially absorbed mind of the conditioned soul does not allow him to transcend the limit of the bodily conception of self. Basically, it means that if we are too much materially absorbed, we will not be able to understand anything beyond our body and mind. And that's why we see people even becoming devotees, afterwards what happens is we are completely absorbed in me and mine. And then something which is a little uncomfortable, I don't want to do it. There's a program happening, sorry, I can't do it. There's some request for some service, sorry, I can't do it. There's 101 reasons for us not to do that. Only one reason to do that, and that's just to please the Lord. So it happens to even devotees. It's not only, when we become devotees, we think I'm not a conditioned soul, but no. Conditioning is a matter of degree. We start with 100% conditioning, and the conditioning becomes lesser and lesser as the devotional progress happens. But we have to keep in mind that, yes, introspection helps us. Yes, how much conditioned am I? If I'm given some more service, can I do it? Of course, health is to be taken care of. The other duties have to be taken care of. But then we understand that, yes, if I have to explain this to someone else, we just tell them that, by doing devotional service, we are not becoming that much materially absorbed. One classic example which Krishna gives, Prabhupada also elaborates on that when we give charity, a materially absorbed person doesn't want to give charity. He just wants to hold on to all his wealth, all his opulences. But when we explain that if you give charity, your attachment to your possessions will be reduced, and you will feel a lot more happier. In Hindi, there's a saying, देने वाले का हाथ लेने वाले से हमेशा ऊपर होता है. That means the hand which gives is always above or higher than that hand which takes. So even in mundane material terms, if you want to be higher in the ladder, if you give something to someone, you will be on the higher platform. So we can explain this, we should meditate on this verse and find out, okay, if I meet someone, how can I explain him to, just see the Lord in everywhere. Just see the Lord in all your situations, whether good or bad. If someone is going through difficult times, we can still console them. These things happen. Yesterday we got a message, please pray for our Govinda Mohan Prabhu. I got a message that he's got a heart attack and he's in the Prince P hospital. And, so people who go through difficult times also at our workplace, in normal life, you can explain them, see the Lord's hand in everything. Some people might be agitated and they might think that, I'm going through difficult times and you're telling me just, not to do anything, just to pray. No, of course we can say no, you can do other things, but at least the prayers are helpful. Someone who's a bit more receptive, we can tell them, fix your mind, on the gross matter, but think of them as something which is given to the Lord. Like, if someone has got a nice house, all the facilities are there, we can tell them, see, you're so lucky that the Lord has given you all these things. At least express your gratitude to the Lord. So this way, we can meditate on this purport, understand what Prabhupada is telling us, and when we meet people who are completely materially absorbed, we can explain them in their language. And then again, guide them in their future journey. We have so many people who we meet in our Bhakti Vriksha groups. They take their own time, their own sweet time to progress in a devotional service. But somehow or the other, we have to hold their hands and guide them, giving them the taste of Krishna consciousness and make them understand that Bhakti Yoga is the highest. 1 minute left. Any questions or comments? Reflections, realizations? Please unmute and share.
Hare Krishna. I think there's a question in the chat.
Yes. Okay, the Virat Swarup is a material form. Can you explain? I will give you a brief answer. I will explain Krishna Mataji when we meet again, but I will give you a brief answer so that everyone benefits. We can see that Krishna has his both potencies, internal and external. Internal potency means, the devotees who are in the spiritual world or devotees who are in the material world but are completely absorbed in Krishna. But if someone wants to see Krishna materially, then Krishna shows us this Virat Swarup. Arjun wanted to show to everyone who are not devotionally inclined that, okay, how can we see that Krishna is the taste of water, Krishna is the sun and the moon, Krishna is time, Krishna is death, and Krishna showed him the form so that everyone else can see in the future. And people who do not believe that Krishna is the supreme, this way Krishna shows that yes, I am the supreme. And one important feature of Krishna, the impersonal feature of Krishna, is time, Kala. One of the 5 topics which is described in Bhagavad Gita, Kala. And we can see that if we are not Krishna conscious, time is destroying everything what we have and even our body. But when we are Krishna conscious, with every rising and setting of sun, we can understand that I am not the body, I am eternal soul, servant of Krishna. And because of my relationship with Krishna, I am, as a Jiva soul, not going to be destroyed. And this way, we can bask in our immortality in relationship with the Lord. But in this chapter, Sukadeva Goswami will explain in detail how we can see Krishna's material form in the Virat Swarupa, all the material stuff we can see around us. Does it answer your question, Mataji? You can unmute and say if any more questions we can take.
Yes. I've lost my voice from listening.
No, you're quite far away, so you need to come closer to the mic.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you very much for explaining.
Okay. Is that clear? Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Anyone else? Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Granth Raj, Srīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Krishna willing, we'll see everyone tomorrow at 6:30 to continue with this verse number 24. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Again,
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.